Take a look at the standard textbook explanation for how the ancient world was built. We are told they relied entirely on simple wood, raw copper, and endless muscle. That explanation hits a wall when you scale it up. It asks us to believe that primitive tools somehow achieved the same precision we expect from modern aerospace factories. This gap in logic drives millions of people straight to the internet. They look at a perfectly hollowed granite sarcophagus and assume the builders used anti-gravity, acoustic levitation, or alien lasers. The true lost technology was a highly refined command of natural physics and earthly materials. The way they manipulated the natural world is far more impressive and complex than the sci-fi theories suggest. The greatest challenge to this theory is Aswan granite. It is packed with highly dense quartz crystals. Cutting it today requires heavy industrial circular saws, tipped with industrial diamonds and spinning at thousands of RPMs. The Old Kingdom builders only had raw copper. Trying to cut dense quartz with a soft, bendable metal is mathematically impossible. The friction simply deforms the copper and grinds it into useless dust. They solved this by using a fluid abrasive method, harvesting jagged quartz sand from the desert and treating it as millions of microscopic diamonds. Experimental archaeologists realized the ancient heavy copper blades were completely flat and toothless. Workers poured water and sharp sand directly into the cut. As the heavy copper dragged back and forth, those jagged sand grains embedded themselves into the soft metal. The blade became a rigid holder, scraping the ultra-hard quartz against the granite under immense pressure. Instead of inventing harder metal alloys, they weaponized the friction of the desert itself, turning calming sand into a high-pressure liquid blade to melt through solid rock. We see this same mechanical precision in the pre-dynastic stone vases. Carved long before the pyramids, these vessels are made from diorite and porphyry, dense volcanic rock that sits right next to diamonds on the hardness scale. When metrologists analyzed these jars with high-precision 3D structured light scanning, the data revealed a relative coaxial precision of less than 0.1 millimeters. The walls are mathematically uniform, and the circularity is flawless. If you try to hollow out a wide belly through a narrow neck using manual carving tools, human error guarantees asymmetrical walls. Hands and chisels cannot produce this level of uniform symmetry. The geometry suggests an ancient, rigid lathe system. Instead of spinning a tool, they locked the heavy stone vessel in place and spun it against a fixed abrasive grinding head. Every turn stripped away material in a mathematically perfect circle. When they scaled up to massive infrastructure, the mechanics became entirely physical. Resting in the Aswan bedrock is the 1,200-ton unfinished obelisk. It is a single block of granite, heavier than 3 commercial airliners. Look closely at the rock walls surrounding it. The trenches feature smooth, concave, repeating channels without a single chisel mark or splitting wedge. The rock looks like it was scooped out like soft butter. This is what prompts theories of thermal lasers, but the real mechanism was human endurance. Scattered all around this quarry are thousands of 12-pound dolerite pounders, spheres of igneous rock, even harder than granite. For months on end, teams of hundreds of workers stood over these exact trenches. In a synchronized rhythm, they slammed heavy stones into the granite, pulverizing a fraction of a millimeter of rock into dust with every single strike. These smooth trenches serve as a physical record of human beings acting as biological jackhammers, conquering the mountain 1 millimeter at a time. Once extracted, they aligned a 13-acre foundation to true north with less than a fraction of a degree of error. Once extracted, they aligned a 13-acre foundation to true north with less than a fraction of a degree of error. That is more accurate than the Royal Observatory in London, and they did it without compasses or satellite GPS. Astronomers used the simultaneous transit method. They hung a simple weighted plumb line and watched the night sky, waiting for the exact moment 2 specific stars on opposite sides of the celestial pole aligned perfectly behind that vertical string. A line drawn on the ground directly below pointed absolute dead north. To ensure that massive 13-acre footprint was perfectly level, they dug a vast network of shallow mud brick trenches across the site. They filled that grid with water. Because the physics of gravity forces resting water to find absolute level, they could simply mark the high water line on the bedrock, drain the trenches, and chip away the excess stone to match. They matched modern surveying precision by using the rotation of the stars as an astronomical computer and the Earth's own gravity as a massive laser level. Modern steel and concrete will expand, rust, and degrade into rubble within a century. Our current engineering is built almost entirely for the short term. The Egyptians developed a thermally processed gypsum mortar that is structurally stronger than the massive stone blocks it binds. We know its exact chemical makeup, yet we cannot successfully replicate the processing technique today. Because of this material science, their structures have survived thousands of years of earthquakes and weather. By aligning air shafts to act as natural venturi pipes and utilizing the massive thermal inertia of the stone, they locked the interior of the Great Pyramid at exactly 68 degrees year-round. They turned architectural mass into a self-regulating climate control system. Instead of relying on digital software to calculate structural stress, they used analog computation. They embedded constants like pi and the golden ratio directly into their architectural geometry, relying on mathematics to neutralize gravitational forces. When tens of thousands of minds unify across generations to manipulate sand, water, and stone with this level of precision, the results outlast time itself. We don't need to invent aliens to explain what our ancestors could build when they intend it to stand for eternity.